Hello and welcome to SOUQ Pulse. It's a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. I want to say thank you very much for everyone that has been there, for everyone that has been sending us your feedback, and for everyone that has also called to say, tweak this or tweak that. And for everyone that has also gone ahead to continue a conversation through the week, through the month, and taking it further, reaching your house of rep, reaching those you've sent to represent you. Doesn't matter the country where you are. I want to say thank you very much. Remember, here we say do not keep quiet because this is SOUQ Pulse. And on SOUQ News, it's all about positivities. We don't keep quiet, we talk. So today we are going to get personal. For those wondering, yes, it's an abridged version, but we'll still get very personal. We are going to ask ourselves some direct questions. So, when we say look at the mirror and look and ask the question, who will answer you? The person you see on the other side of the mirror. My name is Chuks, John Rogers Chuks, and this is SOUQ Pulse. Today, I have a guest who will dive into this straight, and we will be back after this very, very short break. Yes, it's SOUQ Pulse, and I say welcome. Now, we are known for one thing as Africans. We are known for our communal living. So for those that are above 30, 40, 50, you remember very well growing up, you were the responsibility of everyone, both within your neighborhood, in school, and every street you cross, going or coming, both from school, from whatever places you are going to. You dare not misbehave. They will flog you from there and correct you from there till you get home. Same thing when it comes to taking care of people. Same thing when it comes to feeding. Every child did not just belong to the parent, it belonged to the community. And we took care of that, and we had pride in doing that because that is who we are, Africans. So today, that's what we are delving into and asking ourselves these particular questions. Africa, are we still our brother's keeper? Let that sink in. To do justice to this particular discourse and topic for today is no other but a convener of an initiative that is going around the country for those in Nigeria, taking care of not just the aged, but the less privileged. And someone that has dedicated not just her life, but her time, aside the job she does, to make sure that we get to answer this question directly. I'm talking of no other but Chichi Ononiwu. Your Excellencies, please join me as I welcome the convener of BEULAH Initiative. Welcome to SOUQ Pulse, Chichi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chuks.
Good.
Nice being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So again, sorry for the stress in getting you up here. You're welcome. Don't say about it. Now let's go straight to our topic. Are we still our brother's keeper in Africa?
It's a very big question, really. We used to be our brother's keeper in at least sub-Saharan Africa. Because I remember clearly growing up, my grandfather once told me that way back then, during their time, they lived in these communities where they believed that a child is not just the responsibility of her or his or her immediate parents, but actually that the community owned the child. So every member of the community, had a hand, as it were, in raising up children in the community. If your neighbor saw your child doing something wrong, going astray, they were free to correct the child, and the parents won't pick offense. But these days, parents even go to schools to fight teachers for correcting their kids. I don't mean when teachers are obviously abusive and all of that. I mean just simple correction for being naughty. Parents get offended. Now you can talk more of the community setting. This modernization, in quotes, has eaten so badly and deeply into our innate communal culture that people are now, very wary of intervening, when they see the neighbors' kids misbehaving or anything like that. They would rather just turn the other face and, let the child go astray. And that does not mean that there are no undesirable elements in the society that could take things, the other way. But basically, my grandparents, great grandparents grew up in a community where there was this caring and belief that everyone should be responsible for, strengthening a child, training a child, inculcating the right values into the child, and you saw most of those children were some of these are politicians that are all, dying off now, who most of them were actually trained by communal efforts. You saw that a promising child, for instance, educationally, Western education wise, the community would gather together and they made contributions to pay the child's school fees. Sometimes they took the child abroad to study so that he can come and be a beacon of hope for the community. And they did well. So most of them built the town halls that we knew about growing
the community or the child that was trained?
The child that was trained would come back because this will give the child a real sense of responsibility over not just the immediate family, but to do something to fight for the good of that community. You saw all of them. Most of the community halls we had then, I don't know about everywhere else, but in the East, it was such kids that, built the town halls.
Okay, children that were taken care by the community.
By the community.
Okay, now let's look at it now. At what point or where we are now, to what extent are we going to say individuality is playing a role? Because we have a whole lot of nuclear families, no more extended families as they used to be. Okay. So it's me, my family, my kids. Family, wife, kids. So is it the nuclear family issue, or is it that we've forgotten that there's something called an extended family?
Well, I would say this, in today's world, especially in our part, in sub-Saharan Africa, we used to have more of, extended family in the sense that there was more of polygamous settings way back then than now. But
why?
Yeah, because of the kind of economic pathways that they took. Most of them were farmers.
So polygamy was
exactly
good
they
for
wanted
farming.
To have large number of family members to help in farming and all of that. They equated wealth to having large family setting.
Large, hardworking family.
Large, hardworking family. Okay. Yeah, and there were lots of large, responsible and hardworking families back then because they were basically into subsistence farming, They would all gather, go to the farm they owned. It made them to be able to own large farmlands because that was the basic way wealth was measured way back then.
Okay, now we are still looking at this issue of Africa being not united anymore.
Yes.
Now we are bringing it down to the family unit.
Okay.
Now, by the time the family unit is this divided, what do we get to see when we now bring the whole?
Okay.
And with the division caused by borders and all that.
And all of that.
Now let's look back to the issue you just brought up. Wealth, big families, polygamy, farming. As we speak right now, we have less of farming in Africa. We have less of farming in Nigeria. We have a whole lot of food inflation because people are not farming. Now, they'll bring up a whole lot of other factors, insecurity and all that. Good. But don't you also think that polygamy assisted in getting people to the farms?
Yeah, I already said that anyways. When I said, people needed larger, it's like having a large family setting, encourage them more to farm because it wasn't just the man and the woman now and maybe one or two children.
But that's for people that are responsible enough and looking forward to farming.
Yes. No, they had no, back then, I don't think a lot of them had any choice
But to farm.
than, yes,
There was land to farm.
there was land to
There
farm.
was seedlings to plant.
Yeah, and it was a cultural thing.
There was
farm.
wealth to be made.
And there, yeah, exactly, from
And there was
farming
mouths
as
to
well.
be fed.
There were mouths to be fed.
And there was market to sell.
And there was market to sell. There is still market to sell.
So
Now,
why are we having all this before and we are forgetting them now?
Yes, the
Can we
thing
go back
is,
to poly?
no, today the point is that we have more mouths to feed
Less food
and less hands
to farm.
to farm. So I think that in a nutshell, that's the basic cause of food inflation.
More mouths to feed.
More mouths to feed, less hands working to bring out the food from the ground.
But the hands are there.
Eh?
The hands are there.
The hands are there, but they aren't. When I say hands now, I'm talking about farming hands.
Okay.
Because that is the context.
Not manicured.
Not manicured hands.
Okay. Now let's go back to the issue of we taking care of each other. We get to see a lot of young people not behaving the way their parents behaved, not taking the part of I won't call it righteousness, but the part of responsibility that the older generation had.
No values.
And we see our own generation keeping quiet and just watching. Where did we miss it? Is it education? To what extent are we going to blame modernization?
Okay. I will just speak, factually. The truth is, in as much as we bring up, we birth kids, as early as possible, put them in daycare, then throw them into kindergarten and all of that. And most of the time depend on teachers to do what the parents should do. The foundational structure of the character of any child begins from the home front. When that is missed, everything else is just trying. You understand what I mean?
I'm trying.
It is the home front that determines and shapes the character of a child. Actually, psychologically, it is said that by 3 years old, your kids start forming their individual characters. So anything that you don't start putting into them, once they are both 3, some things are already fixed, that it becomes a bit more difficult to shape them. But that is to say that the family unit has the most basic responsibility of making a child turn out good, in quote, or bad. Do you understand? Turn out reliability.
I'm trying to understand. Now, let's also define who exactly or what exactly is a family unit.
The family unit is the mother and the father of the child. Where they're absent, there'll be the guardians.
Okay.
Whoever is the secondary parent of that child.
Okay.
Should provide the basic foundational, building, character building that the child will rely on for life.
Okay. A typical example. Now, growing up, I had this particular neighbor. I won't mention his name, but you know yourself. He disciplined me more than my parents disciplined me.
Okay.
And he was regarded more like family. But blood ties, we did not have blood ties. So is it possible for us to still go back to those kind of...
That's a mentorship, yeah. That also works. But if your parents didn't even do their job, you won't still be able to learn from that person who you claim disciplined you more. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
If they didn't, kind of make a contribution that allowed you to be teachable. You understand what I'm saying? Because one thing is for you to be taught something. Another thing is for you to be receptive towards whatever it is that was being taught. So for you to even be receptive, that means your parents did something right.
Okay. Now, if you say my parents did something right, kudos to them. Let's ask this question. What is dividing us in Nigeria before we even start talking about in Africa? Okay. We grew up having neighbors that we didn't even know they were different from us until, okay, they speak a different language, but we also were able to speak that same language. So what exactly is dividing us now?
I'll tell you. What is dividing us is basically modernization. In quotes, like we live like in a woke generation where people now take pride in doing things, that before, would be looked at as taboo. You understand what I'm saying? As in, even the modern parents now, they didn't quite get some things right, because you see our society is just like gradually being subverted before our very eyes, so that people, what was looked at as wrong before, people are trying to push it in your face as good, right? You understand what I'm saying? And nobody wants anybody to any interference. Like, we have lost that sense of community and values. You get what I'm saying? Which is being pushed at us by modernization, that we're trying to import some
Is it
cultures.
okay, good. I
Mhm.
am happy you hit that particular nail.
Yes,
Modernization or culture?
yes. Yeah, they're both. Culture can be developed, can be imbibed, can be improved on. You understand?
So culture
We
is
already
dynamic.
had, it's dynamic. It's
Okay.
quite dynamic. If not, we won't be struggling the way we are now. So something is coming from outside to kind of erode and erase some of the good culture that
But
we have.
why is it easier for that different kind of culture to erode ours? But it's not easy for it to erode cultures in Asia.
Okay, have you ever seen the book How Europe Underdeveloped Africa?
Go ahead.
Okay, fine.
Now you want to go there.
That's part of the, if you ask me, they looked at that thing basically via economic, just on the economic side, but
But that's
it's,
what
it's
that
deep
that is what it's always been for them.
for them.
That's
No,
the
it
end,
means
the
it's
end, the end game.
the end game, but along the line, we also lost our culture. Okay, think
No,
about
I'm talking about for them,
yeah,
not for us. For them, the end game was the market,
it's
the
true.
economy.
It's true.
So now for us, go ahead.
Yes. It's a deep thing, actually. They wanted to, they wanted a market to be able to, they wanted an avenue to exploit us economically, as because we know it as exploitation, but for them is they are developing a market. It's to them it's international markets avenue, just to have a way of making money from Africa while trying to give us what they had and all of that, but we all know that for us it was more emotional than for them, because that opened up a lot of corrosive dealings that actually affected not only our economy but affected our sense of value as a people. How do you get a brother to sell his own brother to you into slavery? For the white man, he made money from the transaction. He had economic value. But for the brother, it was much more than money. Talking about selling your own brother. Something got lost there. He lost his humanity.
Okay. And we are still looking for it.
We're still looking for it.
Okay. Now, to what extent has politics also played its own role in this divide?
When you say politics, is it world
Politics,
politics,
as
no, Nigerian
Nigerian
politics,
politics, African politics,
African politics, played a role in
dividing us.
dividing us. That is even, is it played a role, or is this a continuous thing, or is an ongoing thing? I don't know if you understand. Politics is divisive, especially in our side of the divide, where we actually do not have a culture that promotes the kind of politics that we play. The politics we know now is also and imported politics. You understand what I'm saying? The average African man is really not a Democrat, for instance. We really do not. We as at now we don't have the capacity for democracy.
Is it that we don't have a capacity for democracy, or is not our kind of culture for democracy?
Yeah.
We look forward to leadership from another source.
Yes.
Or is it a religion
No,
or something?
talk about, see, democracy requires a higher level of mindset. Is the truth.
When you say higher
And
level of
values.
mindset, how do you define high level of mindset? Because aside the Greeks, even the United States that practices the same thing, we saw what happened in the last election.
But you would agree with me that what we are practicing in Nigeria is far from being a democracy.
Okay, now
You know,
let's focus on the politics. Now we'll get to see neighbors who can't talk again, all because of
exactly.
party.
That's why I said mindset. People, if you have an elevated kind of understanding of politics, you would know that all of us are just trying to look at the different thoughts, do you understand, about leadership to see which one that we think will benefit us as a people. Generally, do you understand? I can be, as in we make it people or personality focused. What is the ideal of this person, of this candidate? What is his manifesto? What's his vision for the people?
What is his vision for the people?
You understand?
And along the line, we are losing our brothers.
Yeah, because of that's what I'm saying. They play bloody politics, fighting. They even make it ethnic. You understand what I'm saying? They even make it cultural, at some point.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning. When we started asking for, if we are still our brother's keeper and asking, where is your brother? You dwelt more on the child. What about the elderly? Who takes care of the elderly in Africa?
In our society.
Before, every family took care of their elders.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was outside. It was everybody's responsibility to take care of the oldest.
Okay.
But that is not happening anymore.
Sir.
In loads of places.
Sir, that's the same problem we're talking about now. It's not our culture, for instance, to build old people's homes.
Still find it difficult to understand it.
You understand what I'm saying? It's not our culture to drag our old parents that are at a level where we should give back to them to a home with strangers they don't know from anywhere, for them to spend the rest part of their lives in. And some of them never get visits from their close family members. We were groomed. Doesn't even nature tell you that the people who took care of you, you were like an old person at that point where you were an infant, and they stood there and they took care of you. They made sure you were good. And now they are old, they have become a burden. Do you understand? The most you can do is to, trust God and believe that the same way He made it possible for them to take care of you as an infant, God will make it possible for you to help your parents' last days on earth be comfortable to an extent. Sometimes comfort doesn't necessarily mean money. It could mean just emotional care. Just be there for them. Just, let them know that you value their contribution.
Okay. We value their contribution. Definitely we'll value their contribution. Now let's look at BEULAH World Initiative. Now, this is one particular initiative you have come up with over time, and you've got support from friends, family, and it's something that we are looking forward to. People also starting and being part of this particular initiative. It's our responsibility to take care of the next person. If you take a child away from the street, you've taken one problem, because someone once said the child you take away tomorrow is the problem that will haunt you the next day. So now, for taking responsibility for social transformation, to what extent can we look at this kind of initiative? Not just growing but being in the forefront of every single person to take it serious?
Beautiful, brilliant. I love to talk about this because, the bottom line of our discussions today is just this: social responsibility. Social responsibility. We all, there was a post I once made before that 2020 um, riots, Lekki riots. Yeah, it was like a prophecy. You understand what I'm saying? Because I was like, the way our society is going, it will be like, like trying to push back. I'm sure that you saw when the Babbage, that ocean there, was trying to actually reclaim the
Some part of the
land,
land.
some part of
Okay.
the land, exactly. And exactly what it took, the kind of stones they were trying to use to bridge the water and all of that and all of that, it will be nothing compared to, the kind of volcano that can erupt when a society becomes um, like ice towards its youth, especially. Do you understand? When a society doesn't have plan for its youth, doesn't have, doesn't create any inch of hope for its youth. Visible hope. I'm not talking about the one that are doing hanky panky behind closed doors and they say they gave somebody loan here, they gave somebody. I'm talking about visibly, to make it visible across the states where people know this is what the nation is doing for its young citizens, to give them hope, to be able to maximize their gifts, their talents, or even their vision. That is part of the problem we're having in agriculture. Many young people are running away from agriculture. Why? Because they don't see any kind of hope, support. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no plan for even, okay, even if they want to get a land to use for agriculture, will the government be able to get a land, just lease them land to use without them having to look for capital to buy and all of that? I'm just saying, I'm just
Okay, now
talking
for,
generally.
for, for those in agriculture, if you can get down to Niger State, a whole lot is happening there. At least that I can tell you that. So
Okay.
other states should copy. Go ahead.
You understand what I'm saying? Those things are the kind of things we're complaining about, Jakba and all of that. These are the reasons why we are losing our youths every day. Traveling out, some of them are drowning in the ocean just so they can get away from Nigeria. When we have enough resources, if our leaders can just be sensitive and reasonable. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be trying to tell me that you're trying to help me when I see you every day live in abject luxury in the midst of people that can't find daily food to eat. Does it
Okay.
make sense?
Okay. So for the initiative right now, let's look at to what extent can let's say a young man who is doing his business and breaking even, how can he be part of an initiative? Let's say a pastor of a church, an
Okay,
imam of a mosque,
sir.
somebody working in an office. Where should you start helping the next person beyond what you've been doing?
Exactly, sir. Let's look at, for instance, let's look at the companies, the viable organizations, companies that are doing well in the country today. Yeah? What are they doing as their corporate social responsibility? I'm not talking about backdoor. See, we have a lot of companies that say that they have a scholarship scheme. We do not know when those scholarship opportunities are open. They don't make it visible. They don't make it open. So at the end of the day, the people who do not need scholarship are the ones who get it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, because some people want to claim, oh, my child is brilliant, so he gets. That's why he's getting a scholarship. So people that can actually afford to pay school fees for their children, they take all those opportunities to themselves and they share it to themselves, and we don't see how the people who are at the rung of the ladder are getting helped. It's the same way that you have, local government chairman, they come out from communities. We've been to many communities, and we've been to over 110 communities since we started on medical and food outreaches. And many of the communities don't even have basic things like water. The water they use they drink, you can't wash your feet with the water. And still they have people from their communities that say they are selected as representatives in government. What are they doing? How do they, even the projects, those white elephant projects, do they follow them up? Do they supervise them? Do they make sure that the projects are delivered to the people?
So that's where the local government is going to come in now, because now we are looking at local government autonomy and them getting their monies.
Exactly.
So this is where they are going to play.
Exactly.
And this is where we should hold them accountable.
Yes. And sir, every company in Nigeria that is coming here to do business and is doing well should begin to be involved in the communities where they're resident. In that little town, Ota, there are many of them there. What are they doing visibly to help develop the communities where they are making money from?
What are they doing to develop? Now, if we get to sit on the table and also talk to them, don't you think it's possible that somewhere, somehow, they are also trying and somebody somewhere is sitting on it?
That's what I'm saying.
Because we've also seen that happen.
That's what I'm saying. See, I want to see. Every outreach we go to in rural areas, if you're passionate about something, if you're passionate about helping people, you make sure you follow through to make sure that they are getting this help. I don't know if you understand. You make sure to follow through, not just having some statistics on paper. Find out if the people you say you made the budget for, an allocation for, are really getting the help they need. People are frustrated in a lot of these
whoever
rural
makes a
areas.
budget for a particular project should make sure
They follow it
they
up.
follow up.
It's not maybe give it to some organization that will go and use it and buy a new car, and that's the end of the thing. And the people have not seen anything.
Now, what about the people? At what point should they start holding other people responsible for anything coming into their community?
Let them make it so open that the people know that this is an opportunity that they have created to benefit them. So they can be able to help whoever is the go-between responsible. I don't know if you understand. If they do not know you have any plan for them, there will be no way to let them know. For instance, all our outreaches are put out there. Some of our partners, all our partners are notified before outreach and are given the reports of all the outreaches. So they know where the contributions they are making is going. They know that the people are getting helped. I don't know if you understand.
I fully understand. It's always a pleasure when we have direct talk with someone who is out there and making a whole lot of change. I want to say thank you very much, Chichi, for coming on SOUQ Pulse.
Thank you.
Thank you. And to everyone out there, you're wondering, this is still SOUQ Pulse. Yes, it is. We are saying we should get productive. Remember, that is Banjo tagline. We are saying we should not keep quiet. Remember, that is what we say on daily basis. We're also saying let's get to block every avenue where we are losing. Then we are saying, hey, let's get productive. Now we have to take care of the young person. Now we also take care of the older people. Then we have to make sure that the youth knows what they are doing. Also remember citizenship diplomacy. We are Africans. We can't lose our identity, no matter what. The culture that took care of you is still the same thing, and it's your responsibility to take care of the next person. And remember, just as Chichi said, we need to start holding ourselves accountable for every single project and every single budget that has been reeled out. It is our responsibility to make sure that it's not just done, but done properly and to those that are targeted. My name is Chuks, John Rogers Chuks. Remember, this is SOUQ Pulse. We don't keep quiet. We keep talking. We'll do this again tomorrow. And for everyone out there, remember, follow us on our social media handles. Go on YouTube, go on Facebook, go on Instagram, go on TikTok. It's at SOUQ News. SOUQ News TV. Remember, same thing on all channels. And also follow me at CGovnor, CGUVNOR. on all social media handles. Yes, want to say thank you very much. It's great having you, and let's do this again tomorrow. Have yourself a beautiful evening.